At the moment, Grandad-Ste has got the championship done. Falgues, though, is all over his rear bumper, and he's going to look to the inside in towards turn 3. Hasn't quite got a run.
And this has been such a dominant display here from the ONG.
Grandad-Ste barely left the championship at all coming into this season, coming into this final round. Came into this feature race, the 3-point lead. Falgues, no, he needs to try and pressure into the stage. What's happening here? Grandad-Ste needs to keep calm coming out of this final corner. Falgues has got a run here. He's going to have the switch. He's going to pull the right run. Grandad-Ste's going to do it. Grandad-Ste's going to hold on. And Grandad-Ste is going to become the touring car champion here on Moto2. What a race on Moto2. Grandad-Ste holds on. What a battle between the two of them. Grandad-Ste is your touring car champion here on Moto2. What a race. Falgues up into second place.
And this has been such a dominant display here from the ONG. Like I said a moment ago, take nothing away from Emo Guy. He's driven absolutely extraordinary tonight. Absolutely brilliant for him. But it's going to be the only G who's going to cross the line and by my calculations I think become champion. So G wins from Emo Guy. And he has driven a fantastic defensive race all afternoon. Emo Guy's driven a fantastic attacking race all evening. They've both been brilliant in this one. Lodder back in the pits again from P8. Delores up into SIG. Is this Emo Guy having a look at Andy on the final lap of the race? He's got to get it done. He's going to try and go around the outside, and they give each other respect and plenty of room. And Andy just hangs on for the race lead at the moment. But Emo Guy's really trying to fight it in there with only a couple of corners to go now. It's now or never for the Flying Scotsman. A flash in the lights again. Andy responds in flashing his lights, and Emo Guy knows it's now or never. Jonboy still has time to make a mistake at the moment. He's coming up to a back marker on track. And the Emo Guy, 2 corners to go, the left-right chicane. He's going to look up the inside, and is he going to send one on Andy? Later on the brakes, can he keep it there? He's going to be on the outside for the final part, and they touch a little bit, give each other respect, and I think Emo Guy's just in front. He's narrowly in front, and on the last lap, the last corner, Emo Guy's going to take the win. No, Andy gets the win through the penalties. Emo Guy second. Unorthodox will get third with Jonboy then, your champion this season. He's done what he needed to do tonight, and he's going to take the championship. Jonboy, your touring car champion for season 5. What a drive from him. Top job.
Gary X in the final corner now to take a race win here at Suhai, but I don't think it's going to be enough. The championship point says otherwise, but Gary wins the final race of the championship in the BMW. But Xmar is coming around the final corner now. Team Prolapse in second place, looks to take the title here tonight with the help of Laney. Xmar wins the title with Laney in third place. By my calculations, that would be the order. Jonboy crosses the line in fourth. What an awesome season he had in that Mercedes, which is underpowered, underrated, and he has done bits in it.
We have a winner here coming across the line. Laney's going to take the win, and a brilliant win as well. Absolutely controlled this one. He goes across the line, P1, and what a winner. A round of applause there, yes indeed. Done everything he possibly could.
P1 on the track, but not P1 in the title.
But not P1 in the title indeed, as Jonboy comes across the line to be the new touring car champion, and congratulations to Jonboy, well deserved.
Let's jump to this man, Jonboy. He's going to come around the final few corners. He is a 2-time champion of the touring cars. He won the Clear Cup for the first time on Monday night, but unfortunately it's not going to be his season in the touring cars. He is denied a third tie, but a flash of lights nonetheless. He's pretty chuffed with a race win, and he'll take that going into next season. Jonboy, your race winner tonight. Cybertic Land is going to come around and take second place, but your champion of the touring cars here at Motive Racing for season 10 here on Project Cars 2. It's WSRCJ taking his first title here at Motive as he comes over the line. What a drive, what a season here from Jay. He didn't have it easy in that feature race, but he kept it cool under immense pressure and he brings it home in third place. WSRCJ is your champion for season 10. Congratulations to him. Nick Lavilla comes over to take...
Doesn't seem to be his car. One man who has made the BMW work is Mike Gaming. He has had a superb season. He's taken multiple double victories over the course of many rounds this season. Mike Gaming has been a revelation this time around. In the Clegg Cup, he took the win in the championship on Monday night. He's going to make it the double here on Project Cars 2 for season 11 here on the PlayStation 4 and 5. Mike Gaming up towards the line. Ryan Ruby takes a fantastic win in the sprint race here at Willow Springs, but Mike Gaming is your touring car champion for season 11. Following up in the footsteps of Jay, who took it last season, Mike Gaming, season 11 champion. Emma for third place, completes the podium.
And this has been such a dominant display here from the Only G. Like I said a moment ago, take nothing away from Emo Guy. He's driven absolutely extraordinary tonight. Absolutely brilliant for him. But it's going to be the Only G who's going to cross the line and by my calculations I think become champion. So G wins from Emo Guy. And he has driven a fantastic defensive race all afternoon. Emo Guy's driven a fantastic attacking race all evening. They've both been brilliant in this one. Lodder back in the pits again from P8. Delores up into C. Is this Emo Guy having a look at Andy on the final lap of the race? He's got to get it done. He's going to try and go around the outside and they give each other respect and plenty of room. And Andy just hangs on for the race lead at the moment. But Emo Guy's really trying to fight it in there with only a couple of corners to go now. It's now or never for the Flying Scotsman. A flash of the lights again. Andy responds in flashing his lights. And Emo Guy knows it's now or never. Jonboy still has time to make a mistake at the moment. He's coming up to a back marker on track. And the Emo Guy, 2 corners to go, the left-right chicane. He's going to look up the inside and is he going to send one on Andy? Later on the brakes, can he keep it there? He's going to be on the outside for the final part and they touch a little bit. Give each other respect and I think Emo Guy's just in front. He's narrowly in front. But on the last lap, the last corner, Emo Guy's going to take the win. No, Andy gets the win through the penalties. Emo Guy second. Unorthodox will get third with Jonboy then, your champion this season. He's done what he needed to do tonight and he's going to take the championship. Jonboy, your touring car champion for season 5. What a drive from him. Topped
stop. Gary X in the final corner now to take a race win here at Suhai, but I don't think it's going to be enough. The championship point says otherwise, but Gary wins the final race of the championship in the BMW. The Xmar is coming around the final corner now. Team Prolapse in second place, looks to take the title here tonight with the help of Laney. Xmar wins the title with Laney in third place. By my calculations, that would be the order. Jonboy crosses the line in fourth. What an awesome season he had in that Mercedes, which is underpowered, underrated, and he has done bits in it.
We have a winner here coming across the line. Laney's going to take the win, and a brilliant win as well. Absolutely controlled this one. He goes across the line, P1, and what a winner. A round of applause there, yes indeed. Done everything he possibly could.
P1 on the track, but not P1 in the title.
But not P1 in the title indeed, as Jonboy comes across the line to be the new touring car champion, and congratulations to Jonboy, well deserved.
Let's jump to this man, Jonboy. He's going to come around the final few corners. He is a two-time champion of the touring cars. He won the Clegg Cup for the first time on Monday night, but unfortunately it's not going to be his season in the touring cars. He is denied a third title, but a flash of lights nonetheless. He's pretty chuffed with a race win, and he'll take that going into next season. Jonboy, your race winner tonight. Diabetic Lamb is going to come around to take second place, but your champion of the touring cars here at Motive Racing for season 10 here on Project Cars 2 is WSRCJ, taking his first title here at Motive as he comes over the line. What a drive, what a season here from Jay. He didn't have it easy in that feature race, but he kept it cool under immense pressure, and he brings it home in third place. WSRCJ is your champion for season 10. Congratulations to him. Nick Levilla comes over to take...
Doesn't seem to be his car. One man who has made the BMW work is My Gaming. He has had a superb season. He's taken multiple double victories over the course of many rounds this season. My Gaming has been a revelation this time around. In the Clegg Cup, he took the win in the championship on Monday night. He's going to make it the double here on Project Cars 2 for season 11 here on the PlayStation 4 and 5. My Gaming up towards the line. Ryan Ruby takes a fantastic win in the sprint race here at Willow Springs, but My Gaming is your touring car champion for season 11. Following up in the footsteps of Jay, who took it last season. My Gaming, season 11 champion. Emma for third place, completes the podium.
I get lost sometimes and I can't seem to find a light between the walls I built for myself right in my mind. Then you came over and you showed me love that I've never seen before. When I got you, it's all gonna be alright. Thinking about all the things we did tonight, all the times to be alive. Just you and I, just you and I.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Motive Racing YouTube channel. We are here for another season in the Touring Car Championship on a Thursday night, sponsored by www.revoltdetailer.com. Revolt Detailer himself out on track. Leo, one of the strongest members in our community, one of our, the most integral members of our community here for our Motive Racing Project Cars 2 leagues. He sponsored this Touring Car Championship last season. The prizes still in the post, hoping they'll be arriving at the recipients' addresses very, very soon. But we are here for another season for the here at Brands Hatch, actually, which is renowned for being an exciting touring car circuit. We've raced here before. We've raced here on the Indy layout and this GP layout in the past, and we're delighted to be back here tonight. As looks like we've got Mike Gaming on provisional pole position at the moment. Can he hold on to that, or is Jay going to spoil his party? We saw obviously Mike Gaming taking the championship last season in the BMW. This season he's gone for a bit of a change. He's gone for the McGann. Can he make that work and win the championship even more devastatingly, or can drivers like Jay, maybe Jonboy, try and stake a claim to that title? As we're watching Jay just coming through the final part of the lap here, he's 1.8 seconds adrift, so he's got a lot of work to do here, but he's coming up towards the line. What can Jay put on the board? It looks like he doesn't improve, so he stays in third place. So it is going to be Mike Gaming taking the first pole position of the season for the Touring Car Championship. Obviously this qualifying session, the only first qualifying session we're going to have the rest of the season. This would be a practice session with a reverse grid based on the championship standings, but this is the first race, obviously you can't do that. So Mike Gaming P1 ahead of Cobb in second, who'll join him on the front row. Then we have Jay and Nick Davila on the second row, followed by Jonboy and M. Afford. Then we got Raidsfader Craig, followed by Captain Harlock on his debut tonight in 9th place. Connor Boylan P10 ahead of Charlie Goff in 11th. Paul Pippa Rex in 12th. Revolt Detail 13th. And Ozzy Albi 14th place. The bottom three didn't set a time there in that qualifying session. Here we are then, guys. We're moments away from the first race of the season here at Motive Racing for the Touring Car Championship, as we're just on the grid getting ready to go. This is a straight out sprint to the line. All three races tonight will be sprint races, all about 20 minutes in approximate length, and no pit stops needed in the touring cars. So the Clear Cup and the touring cars for this season, and Project Cars 2, are all going to be sprint races, so it makes it a little bit more jeopardous. The start of the races are going to be key, and making sure that you can navigate the traffic as expertly as possible. Here we go then. We're just readying up now. It looks like everybody's managed to ready up and sort their setups out before the start of this race. Mike Gaming, your reigning champion, change your car this season on pole position, so no change there as we're lights out and away we go. We are underway for a new season. Mike gets away very well. Jay also got a good bite off the line. He's got ahead of Cobb coming up towards Paddock Hill Bend, but we're almost going to go through. We were too wide there coming into the corner as Jay around the outside of Cobb into second place. We see a little bit of contact there between a BMW and McGann, but up towards Druids for the first time is Mike, followed by Jay. Cobb in third place ahead of Nick Davila, and then you've got Jonboy in fifth place in the Mercedes ahead of Craig, followed by Raidsfader in seventh, Charlie Goff in eighth, as we can see three wide in the background here as you've got M. Afford on the inside there trying to squeeze through. Revolt Detail holding around the outside. M. Afford there all over the grass as Captain Harlock there squeezes ahead of M. Afford there up into P10. You've got Connor, who's just been passed by Park Pooper there. Park Pooper gets himself into 12th place ahead of Connor Boylan, and Connor's lost out to Ozzy as well, so Ozzy Albi up into 13th place, but it's Mike Gaming leading by already over a second here over Jay. You've got Cobb there right on the back of Jay as they're side by side coming towards the end of the back straight, but Jay has that covered off the inside line, working a treat there for Jay. You've got Nick Davila there just behind Cobb at the moment, followed by Jonboy. Jonboy's having a look there, throwing a little feint to the inside of Nick Davila, trying to put him under pressure, can't do so at the moment. The rest of the pack pretty much as they were, as we can see a move coming up here. We've got Paul Pooper trying to squeeze down the inside of M. Afford there, a little bit aggressive there from Paul Pooper Rex, almost manages to do it. In fact, has he managed to pull that off? I think he has done. Yes, Paul Pooper's up into 11th place. Very clean first lap from the guys so far. Connor not having the best of laps, down to 14th place, but it's Mike leading ahead of Jay, and Jay's just managed to get Cobb coming through the final sector here, but about a few tenths of a second now separating those two. Jonboy's still over the back of Nick Davila, but looking back down the order, it looks like it's pretty much as you were a few moments ago. Park Pooper there is now focusing attention on Captain Harlock, as we can see. We've got Charlie into the pit, so Charlie Goff jumped the start. He's picked up a drive-through penalty for jumping the start. What a shame there, as we can see Mike still leading the race ahead of Jay. Cobb though keeping Jay honest at the moment, but Jay's not allowing Mike to run off into the distance here. Jay has got the gap under a second, and he's kept that gap at the same amount since he managed to shake off Cobb's challenge for second place. So Jay has shrugged off Cobb's pursuits there, and is now looking to try and bridge that gap there to Mike Gaming. But it's Mike from Jay from Cobb. Nick the Villa there in fourth ahead of Jonboy. You've got Craig there ahead of Revolt Detailer, followed by Raids Fader. There's Part Pooper, Captain Harlock ahead of M. Afford, followed by Connor, who's a long way behind there. And then you've got Ozzy Albie and Charlie obviously coming in for that drive-through penalty at the end of the first lap. But it's not been the start to the season that Ozzy Albie would have wanted at all. He is down in 13th place, and looks like not going the way that he would have needed it to. But Mike, J, Cobb, Nick the Villa, Jonboy, your top 5, 3 seconds covering the top 5, but only about a second covering the top 3. So these 3 are starting to just break away a little bit from Nick and Jonboy, as we can see Mike just clinging on for the time being. But change of car this season. Mike Gaming, obviously he's been driving in the BMW for the last season. He won the championship in the BMW, decided he wanted to switch it up, maybe experience the same things that the other guys, most of the guys that he's been battling with, driving in, and now he's going to be feeling the full effect of a J and a Cobb in the same machinery. These guys are front wheel drive kings, J and Cobb. We've seen these guys, they've been driving these Megans for many seasons now on this Project Cars 2 game. Mike prefers the rear wheel drive cars, but this season has decided to challenge himself and trying to take himself out of his comfort zone. Right now he's really holding his own, but J and Cobb in hot pursuit at the moment, now 0.8 of a second separating these 3 guys. You've got Nick the Villa running in 4th ahead of Jonboy, a bit of a gap back to Craig, who's ahead of Revolt Detailer and Raids Fader just right there behind them. Part Pooper there in 9th place. You've got M. Afford there in P10, followed by Captain Harlock, and then a couple of seconds back to Connor, who's in 12th place. And Connor gets it all wrong coming out of Druids, and he stays ahead of Ozzy Albie for the time being. We've got 4 drivers with time penalties here for what I assume would be track limits. Oh, Revolt Detail has gone deep there, coming out onto the back straight. That's going to give Part Pooper and M. Afford P7 and 8 respectively. Revolt Detail are unfortunately having a slight little moment there. Mike Gaming and Jay have just gap covered it a bit now. Cobb's falling off at the back of the top 2, but Jay's still keeping Mike really much on his toes at this point as they're coming through the middle part of the lap in towards the final sector here on lap 3. But Jay, the former champion of the touring cars, won this championship 2 seasons ago, looking to try and regain it if he can. Mike Gaming, the reigning champion, will be giving it absolutely everything. You've got quite a few champions on the grid this season. You've got Jonboy also is a 2-time champion of the touring car division here at Motive. So between these 3 guys, they have got 4 championships between them, which is absolutely awesome. It's great to see so many guys who have been around the block in the touring cars here at Motive on Project Cars. We've got Mike still ahead of Jay, followed by Cobb. Nick the Villa there running in 4th has just got just under a second to Jonboy. These 2 battling over P4. Bit of a gap back to Craig, who's currently in a class of his own in terms of he's not really on the pace of the leaders, but he's definitely got the pace over the mid pack. Part Pooper there ahead of M. Afford, followed by Revolt Detailer, who made that little mistake on the previous lap. He's running just ahead of Captain Harlock at the moment. You've got Connor there running in 11th place, followed by Ozzy Albie. You see Raids Fader's coming into the pits for damage repairs, which is not ideal at all because there are no pit stops for these for the touring cars this season in any of the races. No mandatory pit stops needed, so that's not gone well for Raids Fader. But currently Jay's just dropped off of Mike a little bit now. He has picked up a time penalty. I would hazard a guess it's probably a 3-second time penalty because he was about 3.5 seconds slower, it says, than Mike on that last lap, but he obviously wasn't 3.5 seconds slower. That is because the time penalty that was awarded actually doesn't just affect your race time, it also affects your lap time as well. So Jay there doing a 1:32, which is pretty hard to believe when you see his position on the track at the moment. So he's now got to really get his head down. He's not only got to clear Mike at some point in this race, but he's got to actually pull 3 seconds to him, which would be a hell of a feat, but I wouldn't put it past him. Jay is, as I said before, he's a connoisseur of these Renault Megans. Front wheel drive machines are right up his street. Mike Gaming, as we said before, hasn't really got the experience in the front wheel drive. He's obviously he's an extremely talented driver, as we know. He's the reigning champion. He managed to win the touring car championship in the BMW, and the BMW, in the opinion of most, is not on the same level as the Megane. But Mike Gaming's driving style means that the BMW is what he prefers to drive, and obviously taking himself out of his comfort zone against drivers who are experienced in the Megane could be he could live to rue that decision, but so far it's paying off. He's still leading this race, but Jay's really giving him something to worry about. Cobb's keeping with these guys at the moment. I just saw in the background Jonboy going a little bit wide there coming out of turn 3, but keeping it on the road at the moment. Looking back down the order, Park Poop is still running just behind M. Afford, but still can't get ahead of him. Revolt Detail has dropped further off of these guys now. He's got Captain Harlock looking to try and give him a bit of pressure here. Captain Harlock, need to give a big shout out to him, racing in his debut here tonight at Motive Racing in the BMW. Signed up this afternoon actually on our Discord, and I thought we wouldn't be able to get in, but we had a couple of very last minute dropouts for tonight, which meant that he was able to get a spot on the grid. So welcome to you, Captain Harlock. Good to see you out here. Hopefully it's the first of many races for you joining us here tonight, as these two are a little way ahead of Connor running 11th place. You've got Aussie Albie there in 12th, Charlie Goff still going in P13, and Raids Fader currently rounding out the classification at the moment. But Mike and Jay separated by 0.3 of a second as those two coming out of the last corner out onto the start finish straight again. Starting lap 6 of this race, you got Cobb there running just under 2 seconds off of the back of these guys at the moment. But Jay is looking pretty racy here now on the back of our reigning champion and a former champion, looking to try and take it to the man who denied him of his crown last season. Mike a bit deep into Druids. Jay will just be taking notes on these little things, mental notes of these little blemishes that Mike is now showing, these little cracks that potentially he could be able to capitalise on over the course of this race. But as I said before, Jay's got a 3-second time penalty, which could come to bite him on the behind, because Cobb is within that 3 seconds of him at the moment. So as it stands, the race was to finish right now, Jay would finish in 3rd place behind Cobb, so he needs to get his head down and get his skates on here. But the 3 leaders were separated by 2.5 seconds. Then we've got a bit of a gap out to Nick, who's managed to gap Jonboy by just over a second. Then you've got Craig there, who's running in P6. He's got M. Afford closing in on him actually. Park Poop has now dropped off at the back of M. Afford a bit. Looked like he got a slowdown and still dropped back and still got the time penalty as well. So unfortunately, Jay's had a mistake. So Jay's lost out to Cobb here. Cobb is up into 2nd place. Didn't see what happened there to Jay, but he's dropped it somewhere coming through the middle sector, and he's now nearly 5 seconds behind Mike, so that's not gone the way that he would have needed it to at all. We've also lost Charlie Goff from the session, which doesn't make a whole load of sense, to be perfectly honest. Did he? Because he left quite abruptly there, to be fair. He wasn't driving a terrible race, but hopefully he'll be back in for the next one. Fingers crossed. We'll see Charlie Goff in for the next 2 races here tonight. Obviously 3 sprint races here for the Touring Car Championship this season, but still Mike leading by 3 seconds ahead of Cobb. You've got Jay there running in 3rd place at the moment. You've got Nick the Villa there 4th. He's about a couple of seconds still clear of Jonboy at the moment, but the race starting to settle down a little bit. Always Jonboy gets really heavy onto 2 wheels there coming out of turn 3. But Mike is still your leader at the moment by 3.5 seconds ahead of Cobb, and Cobb's there has just got about 1.5 seconds back to Jay, who's running in 3rd place at this point. But Jay's just trying to get onto the back of Cobb again and try and get himself back into this race. I reckon it could be a bit of a push for him now to get the win in this first race of the season, but nonetheless he could still challenge Cobb and maybe get ahead of him. Who knows if he'll be able to pull a gap to him. But right now Mike Gaming looking in cruise control, and last season taking the championship in a BMW. Can he do it in another car? It would actually be the first driver. If you're able to do it, it'd be the first driver. If he wins the championship this season, it'd be the first driver to actually take the Touring Car Championship in 2 different cars for 2 different manufacturers. Jonboy came quite close actually. Jonboy has won it twice in the Megane. Jonboy's just got ahead of Nick there, up into 4th place. So that's job done there for him. But Jonboy has actually won the championship twice in the Renault Megane in the past, so he knows what it takes to win the championship. But obviously he came very close in the Mercedes back in season 6, the season when X-Mart won it. He came very close to winning the championship, but just missed out by about a couple of points, or maybe even 1 point. I think it was very close, I know that. So Jonboy obviously driving in the Mercedes this season, the car which he came tantalising close to winning the championship. He's lost it. Jonboy's dropped it there coming down turn 3, and he gets it. He tapped the wall a little bit there. Hopefully he hasn't got too much damage. It looked like quite a light tap, so hopefully hopefully he can continue without too much of an issue, but he's lost time there to Nick, and Nick's now looking comfortable there in that 4th place. Jay is up into 2nd, so he's got ahead of Cobb. Didn't see where he did that, but he's already pulled a 2nd to him, and if he can pull another 2nd or 2, he might be able to finish in 2nd place. Obviously he has got a time penalty which will affect him by the time we get to the end of this race, but now Jay once again in P2, a long way behind Mike, who's still leading this race though at the moment. Lap 8 here of this race. We're just over halfway through the first race of the evening. 3 sprint races here for the touring cars this season. It's an 18 race season, 6 weeks long, 3 races per round. Currently Mike has still got that lead over Jay even. Jay still has got the 2.5, maybe 2 seconds now over Cobb. Nick the Villa is a long way behind Cobb, and he's now got a bit of a gap back to Jonboy. Jonboy now has got pressure from Craig, so Craig will be looking to try and get Jonboy if he can for P5. Mufford a couple of seconds behind Craig at this point, but what can Craig do here? Because we suspect Jonboy might have a little bit of damage on the front of the car. He did tap the wall ever so slightly coming out of turn 3, so let's see what he can do here as we ride on board with Craig coming into Paddock Hill Bend at the moment. See Jonboy tagging the curve, looking like he had to correct the car a little bit, runs wide coming out of the corner, but keeps it on track. I think maybe Jonboy's just trying to get himself back into the zone again. I think he's probably got the he's got the grit and determination, but he needs to make sure he doesn't make another mistake here, and he should be, I think, okay to hold on for this P5, but it's not the race that he would have been hoping for on his return to the Mercedes for this season. He is currently the highest running Mercedes of the lot at the moment. You've got the McGann 1, 2, 3, 4, Mike still leading ahead of Jay, followed by Cobb, followed by Nick. Jay looks like he's closed in on Mike actually so far on this lap, because that gap's come down a little bit. Jay's almost doing his personal best on this lap so far, so it's looking like a pretty much a bit of a scorcher so far around this time around here for Jay, our champion from 2 seasons ago for season 10 here in the touring cars. Our season 11 champion Mike still going around in the lead at the moment. Obviously Jonboy, your season 5 and season 7 champion, I think. Yeah, season 5 and season 7. He won the championship here in the touring cars. Actually quite a long time ago now. It was about a year and a half ago it was that Jonboy took his championship. Obviously Cobb is a former champion here at Motive as well, with the tier 2 GT3 champion, also quite a long time ago. That one was probably mid 2021 that was. So these guys won championships, but it was a while ago now, so they'll be hoping to try and get back to winning ways in terms of championships. Obviously Jonboy, what am I talking about? Jonboy won the Clio Cup 2 seasons ago. I'm just talking dribble. I'm just talking absolute rubbish. Jonboy won the Clio Cup. Was it when was it? It was summertime. Yeah, it was in the summer, July and August, season 10. See, my memory's just falling apart. I've got a good memory for like facts for moments and stuff, but I couldn't tell you when they happened. But currently Mike still is out in front, and he's got a 6.5 second gap at the moment over Jay. So Jay's made a mistake on this lap because he's just dropped back by another 2 seconds here on your race leader. But Cobb's also made a mistake. He's dropping further back off of Jay at this point. But it looks like Nick is now only about 3 seconds off at the back of Cobb, but Nick has got a time penalty, so he doesn't just need to get onto the back of Cobb and pass him, he also would need to put out however many seconds he's got in terms of penalties. But currently Jonboy is still running 2 seconds ahead of Craig. Craig has got Mufford really crawling all over the back of him now, so Mufford's done some good work in the last few laps. I think Craig must have made a mistake, because Mufford's last lap was a 1:38. Craig's been ahead of him the whole time. Mufford's last lap was a 1:38, and now he's on the back of Craig, so Craig must have dropped it on the last lap or so. Let's see as they come over the line, see what the timings are. So Craig at 1:33, that's a bit weird. That's a bit confusing, that is. I'm just going to try and get my head around that by ignoring it, but nonetheless, Mike's still your race leader at the moment. 7 seconds is his gap. He's continuing to just stretch that lead over WSR. No, not WSRC. What am I talking about? His name's just Jay nowadays. It's not WSRC Jay anymore. I'm just getting. My mind's stuck in the past. But currently, you got Mufford still pressuring the back of Craig, and we have lost another driver from this race. Unfortunately, didn't actually notice when they left, so I didn't notice that we'd gone down from 13 to 12 drivers at some point. it was Raid's Fader who he lost from the race. So Raid's Fader retired a couple of laps ago. It was now, and we obviously lost Charlie Goff in the very early stages of the race, but we're currently watching Em Afford right now trying to put some pressure here on Craig in the battle for 6th places. They're coming through the middle part of the lap at the moment. They're about 4 seconds behind Jonboy, who's fallen off at the back of Nick over the last few laps. Nick's now not really closing on Cobb. Cobb's responded to that pace. I think this time around we're going to be seeing Cobb pumping in a considerably quicker lap than Nick the Villa as we see him cross over now. So Cobb back in the 129s, and Nick the Villa comes over. He does a 31.1, so Cobb nearly a second and a half quicker than Nick on that last lap. But the front, Mike's still continuing to extend his gap. He was 8/10 quicker than Jay on the last lap. His gap's now nearly 8 seconds. I think Jay's motivation has just kind of dipped now. He knows he can't win this race. He knows he's got second pretty much in the bag. He's not really pushing. He's not really got much to race for at this point. He's just kind of taking it easy and just sort of trying to preserve, I imagine, his mental energy for the second race and the third races tonight here at Brands Hatch. But currently Mike's still out in front doing the business at the moment. You've got Craig still running just ahead of Em Afford at the moment. These guys half a second apart. Em Afford still trying to find a way through, but hasn't been able to force Craig into a mistake. Oh, as I say that, I just look up on the screen. I was looking down at my phone, look up, and Craig's binned it into the wall. So Commentators curse there. I'm so sorry, Craig. And Park Pooper Rex is up into 7th place around the outside there as they come through turn 4. And Park Pooper there moves up into 7th place. Em Afford now can breathe a sigh of relief because he's no longer got Craig all over him in the battle for 6th place. But there are not really too many battles going on right now. Can Craig get onto the back of Park Pooper? Has he got enough? Has he got a healthy enough car to do so? Also, Captain Harlock's just got ahead of Revolt Detailer coming into turn 4. Beautifully done there from Captain Harlock up into 10th place. There's a bit of a slide there on the exit, and Revolt Detailer might fancy a run here coming down the back straight. No, Captain Harlock there, the straight line speed in the BMW got a better exit as well, and Captain Harlock's going to keep on to 10th place there coming down to the end of the back straight. Keeping an eye on the rest of the battles. Doesn't look like there's too much going on. Craig's not really closing on Park Pooper at the moment. You can see Park Pooper's just gapped him a little bit since getting ahead of him after Craig's little mistake coming out of turn 3 when he was battling with Em Afford, who is now in clear air himself. The gap between Mike and Jay has just gone over 10 seconds now, so Mike's just extending the gap. He's just now getting into he's just started to up the tempo right at the end of the race. I think, as I said before, Jay's probably just not really too fussed at this point. Knows he's got the gap to Cobb. Well, I was saying that actually, it's only just over 4 seconds. Jay has got a 23-second penalty. How on earth is that what has happened there? I'm actually lost for words. Well, I haven't seen Jay, but did he overtake somebody? Maybe he overtook somebody off the track. That's my only theory. Maybe he overtook somebody off the track and kept onto the position. Maybe that's what's happened. That's the only thing I can think of. I cannot think how on earth he's managed to get 23 seconds of penalties. That seems a bit excessive. Also, you got Nick the Villa 1 second, Em Afford 4 seconds, Park Pooper for 8. Craig's got a 1 second penalty, Captain Harlock's got 4, Revolt Detailer's got 11, and Connor's got none. So Connor's kept it clean. But Mike here coming through the final part of the lap. Here he is. He's just got a few more corners to go here for the opening race of the season. He's 12 seconds clear of Jay. Cobb's a further 3 seconds back, but I think Jay might lose out on second anyway, because he's only got just over 3 seconds. I think his 20-second penalty, depending on what it was for, might get rescinded. But nonetheless, He might still lose out to Cobb, but Mike Gaming nonetheless, your reigning champion of the touring cars, is going to start off this season with another win. What a season it's been from him so far. He took 3 wins out of 3 on Monday night for the Clios. He's going to make it 1 win from the first round here in the touring cars. Congratulations to Mike Gaming taking the victory. Cobb has got ahead of Jay at the end here, so Cobb into second place. Jay has got a penalty. Well, he's got at least 3 seconds. Whether he's going to keep the 20-second penalty, we'll see. But Cobb over the line takes P2 ahead of Jay in 3rd place in the end. Nick the Vidder's going to come around to take 4th place here in the first race of the season, but he gets Jay on the penalties. Whether or not Jay is going to appeal that and get that penalty taken away, we'll have to see. But John Boy coming out of the last corner and up towards the line. It's going to be 5th place here in the end for John Boy as he flashes his lights and comes over the line. He doesn't get ahead of Jay, so Jay actually gets 4th despite the 23-second penalty, as MF and John Boy have a bit of contact over the line. Park Pooper comes over to take 7th place. Craig's going to come over now and it's going to be P8 for him ahead of, in fact no, he gets Park Pooper on the penalties, so Craig there 7th, Park Pooper 8th. Aussie Albie's going to come up towards the line and it's going to be a 9th place finish here for Aussie in the end. And Revolt Detail are our sponsor for the Touring Car Championship. www.revoltdetailer.com. Check out your car detailing products there. We'll have a little ad in the interval break, so check that out in a few moments time. But he's coming out of the last corner here to finish the first race of the night here in the touring cars, as there he goes over the line. P10 there for Revolt Detailer. He's the last to finish on the lead lap with Captain Harlock and Connor, both a lap down. Obviously we lost Raids Vader and Charlie in the early stages. Hopefully they'll jump back in and join us for the second race. But Mike Gaming your winner ahead of Cobb in 2nd, Nick the Villa in 3rd place. I'm just looking for the fastest lap. Fastest lap goes to Mike Gaming actually, and Cobb and Jay doing the exact same lap time there, 1:29.1. So those two lapping very similarly, but it is Mike Gaming who takes the extra point for fastest lap. Just going to scroll down and double check that I haven't missed anybody. Yeah, Mike Gaming taking the extra 2 bonus points to boot, as well as the 50 points for a race win. So he is currently leading the championship and looking good here in this Touring Car Championship with this change of car. Doesn't seem to be causing him too many problems just yet. But that is the first race of the evening. Guys, we'll be back in about 5 minutes for the second qualifying session. Don't go anywhere.
And I can't seem to find a light. The walls I built for myself right in my mind. And then you came over and you showed me love that I never had seen before. Now, when I got you, it's all gonna be alright. Thinking about all the things we did tonight. What a time to be alive. Just you and I.
this has been such a dominant display here from the Only G. To go, take nothing away from Emo Guy. He's driven absolutely extraordinary tonight. Absolutely brilliant for him. But it's going to be the only G who's going to cross the line, and by my calculations, I think become champion. So G wins from Emo Guy. He has driven a fantastic defensive race all afternoon. Emo Guy's driven a fantastic attacking race all evening. They've both been brilliant in this one. Lodder back in the pits again from P8. Delores up into C. This is Emo Guy having a look at Andy on the final lap of the race. He's got to get it done. He's going to try and go around the outside, and they give each other respect and plenty of them. He just hangs on for the race lead at the moment. But Emo Guy's really trying to fight it in there. With only a couple of corners to go now. He's now or never for the Flying Scotsman. A flash of the lights again. Andy responds in flashing his lights. And Emo Guy knows it's now or never. Jonboy still has time to make a mistake at the moment. He's pulled up to a black marker on track. And Emo Guy, 2 corners to go, the left-right chicane. He's going to look up the inside, and he's going to send one on Andy. Later on the brakes, can he keep it there? He's going to be on the outside for the final part, and they touch a little bit. Give each other respect, and I think Emo Guy's just in front. He's narrowly in front. But on the last lap, the last corner, Emo Guy's going to take the win. No, Andy gets the win through the penalties. Emo Guy second. Unorthodox will get third with Jonboy then, your champion this season. He's done what he needed to do tonight, and he's going to take the championship. Jonboy, your touring car champion for season 5. What a drive from him. Top
Barrier in the final corner now to take a race win here at Too High, but I don't think it's going to be enough. The championship points says otherwise, but Gary wins the final race of the championship in the BMW. The X-Mark is coming around the final corner now. Team Prolab in second place, looks to take the title here tonight with the help of Laney. X-Mark wins the title with Laney in third place. By my calculations, that would be the order. Jonboy crosses the line in 4th. What an awesome season he had in that Mercedes, which is underpowered, underrated, and he has done bits in it.
We have a winner here coming across the line. Laney's going to take the win, and a brilliant win as well. Absolutely controlled this one. He's going to cross the line. P1, and what a winner. A round of applause there. Yes, indeed. Done everything he possibly could.
P1 on the track, but not P1 in the title.
But not P1 in the title indeed, as Jonboy comes across the line to be the new touring car champion, and congratulations to Jonboy, well deserved.
Let's jump to this man, Jonboy. He's going to come out the final few corners. He is a 2-time champion of the touring cars. He won the Clegg Cup for the first time on Monday night, but unfortunately it's not going to be his season of the touring cars. He is denied a third title, but a flash of lights nonetheless. He's pretty chuffed with a race win, and he'll take that going into next season. Jonboy, your race winner tonight. Simon plans to come out and take second place, plus your champion of the touring cars here at Motive Racing for season 10 here on Project Cars 2. It's WSRCJ taking his first title here at Motive as he comes over the line. What a drive, what a season here from Jay. He didn't have it easy in that feature race, but he kept it cool under immense pressure, and he brings it home in third place. WSRCJ is your champion for season 10. Congratulations to him. Nicola comes over to take
Doesn't seem to be his car. One man who has made the BMW work is Mike Gaming. He has had a superb season. He's taken multiple double victories over the course of many rounds this season. Mike Gaming has been a revelation this time around in the Clegg Cup. He took the win in the championship on Monday night. He's going to make it the double here on Project Cars 2 for season 11 here on the PlayStation 4 and 5. Mike Gaming up towards the line. Ryan Ruby takes a fantastic win in the sprint race here at Willows Green. But Mike Gaming is your touring car champion for season 11. Following up in the footsteps of Jay, who took it last season. Mike Gaming, season 11 champion. MF for third place, completes the podium.
check, audio check. Check, audio check. Welcome back, everybody. We're here for the second qualifying session of the night. Obviously, this would normally be the first qualifying session for the Touring Car Championship, but the first round has a qualifying session before the first race, because obviously we can't do a reverse grid based on the championship standings when there are no championship standings. So for this round, this will be the second qualifying session. Usually this middle race would be the only qualifying session of the night, but it's currently Jay setting the pace here at the end of this session. You've got Cobb currently in second place. Mike Gaming, the race winner from the first race, still hasn't set a lap yet. Well, he has set one, but not a lap that I think we've come to expect from Mike Gaming. He's 11 seconds off of the pace, so let's have a look and see what he can do as he's coming through the final few corners. You can see somebody's just flashing him actually behind him. Is that Jay himself? No, it's not Jay. That is looks like it could be, I don't know who it is, but Cobb has just gone P1 here by 0.005 of a second. Jay's already finished, so he can't improve. What about Mike? What can Mike do as he's coming around the final corner? He's the only one who can deny Cobb now as he comes up towards the line. What is it going to be for Mike Gaming as he comes over? And it's P12. So he did an invalid lap time. So Mike Gaming is going to have to start from 12th on the grid here. That's going to set the cat amongst the pigeons. We've got Cobb on pole position ahead of Jay on the front row. That's going to be an exciting race between those two. Jonboy not too far away in the Mercedes in third place. Nick Levilla fourth in the McGann. Then you've got Raids, Fader and Craig occupying the third row ahead of Ozzy Albie and Captain Harlock. And then you've got Em Afford and Charlie Goff rounding out the top 10. Followed by Connor in 11th ahead of Mike Gaming. And then you've got Part Pooper and Revolt Detailer rounding out the 14-man grid for this second race. So we are just going to go through a very quick ad sponsoring for our sponsor RevoltDetailer.com, guys. I'll be back for the second race in a moment.
Get lost sometimes and I can't seem to find a light between the walls I built for myself right in my mind. And then you came over and you showed me love that I never had seen before. Now when I got you, it's all gonna be alright. Thinking about all the things we did tonight, what a time to be alive. Just you and I.
Here we are then, guys. We're about to go racing here for the second race of the night here for the Touring Car Championship. Obviously the first round for this season. We got a bit of confusion in the first race. I think a couple of guys have actually been running 100 litres for that first race. That might have been why we saw a bit of a spread out grid in terms of the times. But obviously for this season, the Renault Megane drivers don't have to carry the 100 litres. So they're free to carry whatever they like in the car. There's no restrictions. Come the second round, the top four in the championship will have to carry 100 litres, but for now we're all good. And here we go, the lights are on for the second race. We're lights out, and here we go. Jay got an absolute flyer. Cobb was sleeping off at the start. Jay leads up towards Paddock Hill Bend. Jonboy's got a quick start up into third, now looking to the inside of Cobb as they come through the corner, and Jonboy's got that done there up into second place, but it's Jay leading us up towards Druids for the first time. Jonboy and Cobb there in third place, as we can see there. Nick Levilla in fourth ahead of Craig, followed by Captain Harlock, who's looking down the inside. He's made a quick start in the front, but Captain Harlock spins him round. Unfortunately there, a bit of contact there between the two of them, and Mike Gaming there has been caught up in the incident as well, so disastrous start there for him. It's Jay ahead of Jonboy, who's looking to the inside here, coming into turn 4, can't make the move there. there, but Cobb right behind these guys in third place, waiting in the wings. Nick Lavilla there, just putting a second to the leader, so you got Charlie Goff there, followed by M. Afford. Captain Harlow there into 7th place, having made a bit of a hash at the start, I've got to say. Raids Vader ahead of Part Pooper, and Part Pooper's just trying to move ahead of Connor, but can't do so at the moment. Connor Boylan driving in the BMW this season, has changed it up for this one, and is driving. He's been running in the McGann for the last few seasons, but this season he's actually running in My Gaming's livery from last season. Oh, it's Connor Boylan runs wide onto the grass there, and he might lose out here. I think he's going to lose out to Revolt Dieter and Craig, and Mike Gaming as well gets through. So Connor there down to 13th place. In the meantime, it's Jay leading ahead of Jonboy as we're coming towards the end of the first lap. Jay having managed to get the lead off of Cobb. Cobb made a bit of a sleepy start coming into Paddock Hill Bend, got passed by Jay and Jonboy, and now Cobb finds himself in 3rd place. You got Nick that keep into that tab these guys at the moment, followed by Charlie. You got Captain Harlow going over Mafford, followed by Raids Fader. There's Part Pooper ahead of Revolt Detailer. Then you've got Mike Gaming right on the back of Revolt Detailer now. He's managed to get ahead of Craig here up into 11th place, but Jay still leading coming through Paddock Hill Bend as the cameraman's just not picking up what we're watching right now. Here we go, the leader's coming up towards Druids, and it's currently Jay still keeping ahead of Jonboy. What can Jonboy do in that Mercedes this season? We know he's quick in this car. He's been the runner-up in this championship before in the Mercedes, but we know that the McGann is probably the slightly quicker in terms of overall pace. As Cobb's looking to the inside of Jonboy in towards turn 4. Jonboy's just going to try and hold it around the outside. Can he keep the grip on the outside? No, he can't. He runs wide onto the grass. That's going to give Cobb P2. Now Jonboy's going to be vulnerable to Nick Lavilla, who's going to probably breeze past him, I would imagine, down the back straight. Here we go. Nick Lavilla's got the run, but Jonboy's just keeping himself there. Who's going to come out on top in this battle? Jonboy holds the inside line, keeps on to 3rd place for the time being, and Nick Lavilla has to tuck in for the time being. Jay's already got a time penalty in this race, so I don't know what he's done there, but he's picked up a penalty in the early stages. Is he going to try and outrun this penalty that he's got, as he's still keeping ahead of Cobb at the moment? You've got Jonboy ahead of Nick, and the 2 seconds currently separating the top 4 at this point. Charlie Goff into 5th, is just ahead of Captain Harlow. Captain Harlow's got ahead of Raids Fader, as Raids Fader's lost it there, and he spins out, and very, very conscientious there. He manages to get himself off of the track and out of the way for M. Afford, who was coming round, so well done. Fair play to Raids Fader there, because he controlled that really well. As we see somebody's lost in the background, Revolt Detailer lost it there, coming out of the second to last corner. He's now lost out to Craig, and Craig into 11th place, so Craig there gaining a position out of that one. But Jay still out in front, still leading the way at the moment by half a second at the moment ahead of Cobb. These two really having a good duel coming into Druids. Nick Lavilla there ahead of Jonboy, followed by Charlie Goff. You got Captain Harlow there running in 6th place ahead of M. Afford, who's just 8 seconds off for the lead at the moment. My Gaming's now managed to clear some of the traffic. He's looking around the outside of Raids Fader coming through Druids. Raids Fader's trying to keep it there on the inside. Mike will have the inside for turn 3, and I think My Gaming's going to have that done. Is he? Oh, it goes a little bit deep. Raids Fader back down the inside for turn 3, gets that move back done, and up into 8th place here. Mike not making easy work of this traffic, I've got to say. He is really having to fight for this one. But it's Jay still leading the race right now ahead of Cobb here, as we're still in the early stages of this second race of the night. But Cobb's giving him heavy pressure right now. We've seen these two, they're big rivals on the track. They always have been. They've always been quite closely matched. But right now Jay has got the upper hand over Cobb for the time being. Nick Lavilla there still going in P3 as you've got Jonboy a little way off, but Nick Lavilla's trying to get onto the back of these top 2 if he can while they're battling. It might be a good opportunity for him to close that gap. Cobb is right on Jay as they're now coming through the final corner. Can he get a good run coming out onto the start finish straight? If he can, he might fancy a move into Paddock Hill Bend. Jay's defending the inside line. You can see he's already trying to block off any possible advances that Cobb might be able to try and make. Is he going to try and exploit any little chinks in the armour of Jay as they're coming into the corner now? This is obviously the track where Jay took the championship 2 seasons ago, albeit on the Indy layout, but he must have fond memories of Brands Hatch, because he did wrap up his first ever championship at Motive 2 seasons ago, and obviously then last season Mike Gaming then went and took the championship in the BMW, and this season has switched it up and decided to go for the McGann. But Jay looking to try and regain his title this season. P4 in the first race, obviously he did get a 23 second penalty, so I don't know if there was a glitch on the game that gave him a 20 second penalty, or if he actually really did accumulate that amount of penalties. I don't know if he did or whether that was just a glitch, but nonetheless P4 in the first race. He'll be looking to try and build on that here in this second race. You've got Cobb there right behind him still, still. Nick Lavilla, Jonboy there in 4th place. Charlie Goff still going in 5th at the moment. Has got Captain Harlock not too far off him, but Captain Harlock's got a time penalty as well. You got Emma Raids Fader and Mike Gaming there still running pretty close. Those three battling it out over 7th place. Park Pooper ahead of Craig, followed by Revolt Detailer and Aussie Albie, having a nightmare of a season so far in the Mercedes. It's not worked out at all for our Australian man driving out of the UK, but currently Jay Cobb separated by under a second. They've managed to gap Nick and Jonboy a little bit. Jonboy is still keeping on the back of Nick at the moment. You can see these two having a good little dice for 3rd place as they were in the first race, but Cobb trying to keep onto the back of Jay. Going to just have a quick little peek at the penalties. Jay's got a 2-second penalty, so it's not bad at this point. Jay can definitely make that work. It's not all doom and gloom. He just needs to put out a 2-second gap to Cobb if he wants to win this race. And that is entirely doable for Jay, but Cobb's no pushover. He will certainly keep himself in the hunt for that one. But lap 5 of 13 here for the second race of the evening. This is a 13 lap race, so we know exactly what the race distance is going to be. Mike Gaming's managed to get himself into 7th place ahead of Raids Fader and Emafford, so Mike Gaming's now in some clean air. Emafford must have made a mistake because he's now a couple of seconds adrift of these guys who are running in 7th and 8th places, so I don't quite know what's happened there to Emafford. It's still Jay out the front here by just under half a second at the moment ahead of Cobb. We can see these guys coming down to the end of the back straight. Nick Lavilla there running in 3rd place, still ahead of Jonboy, who's dropped off of Nick a little bit. The gap's now over a second between those two, but Jonboy's still within 3.5 seconds of the race lead at this point. But Jay's still your leader, still looking like he's got some confidence here in this Megane. Looks like he's got a little bit of his mojo back so far this season. He's just keeping Cobb at arm's reach, and Craig has left the session, so we've lost Craig from the race. I'm not sure what happened to Craig, but he's retired from the race for some reason. Where was he on the track? Craig was actually running in P11, so I don't quite know why he's left, to be perfectly honest. Oh, he dropped it and it was dropping down the pack. Okay, right, that might make some sense. We're still watching the battle for the lead at the moment between Jay and Cobb, 0.4 of a second. Currently separating these two as they've gapped Jonboy, and Nick Lavilla's made a mistake. I completely missed that on the timing board there, but Nick Lavilla's now 8 seconds off for the lead. He's lost out to Jonboy and Charlie. That promotes Jonboy into the podium places. Now obviously the Mercedes not quite on the pace of the Megane. I'd say the gap between the two cars probably about half a second a lap on average, but with Jay and Cobb battling, that could negate that half a second difference that Jonboy might need to get himself into this fight for the win. Only 3 seconds off for the lead. So can Jonboy maybe stake a claim to this race victory here? With 2 drivers down in this race. We started with 14, we're down to 12. We obviously lost Craig quite early on. Oh, as Cobb's looking to the inside of Jay, he's got a great run as they're coming through the second of the right-handers, coming through the middle sector, and he's managed to get himself there up into P1. So Cobb now leads the race. Jonboy's now waiting in the wings, so you can see Jonboy's closed in a bit on these guys whilst they've been battling, but Jay's now got work to do because he's got that time penalty of 2 seconds. He's now got Cobb in front of him, so he's now got to really just get his head down and try and get himself back into that argument there with Cobb. But Cobb 1.2 clear of Jay as they're coming over to start lap 7. Jonboy there in 3rd place. You've got Captain Harlock there running in P4. He's just a second clear of Mike at the moment. Charlie Goff there is looking around the outside of Mike as they're coming down towards turn 1. As you can see there, he backs out of that one for the time being. But Cobb and Jay 1 second apart at the moment. The 2 leaders still battling this one out. Jay's just closed a little bit on Cobb over the course of this lap so far. is the two leaders currently. You see the gap just dipping under a second there between Cobb and Jay, so it's just ebbing and flowing at the moment between these two. Jonboy's just fallen a little bit off at the back of them so far on this time around, so he's now 3.5 seconds behind the two leaders at this point. You've got Captain Harlock and Mike. Now Mike Gaming's managed to close up onto the back of him. He's got ahead of Charlie now as Mike Gaming, and he's actually managed to get ahead of Captain Harlock. Captain Harlock ran a little bit wide through that section of the track, and Mike Gaming there up into 4th place. He's almost 10 seconds off with the lead though, so he's got a lot of catching up to do. I don't think he's going to get himself on the podium unless Jonboy makes a mistake, but Mike Gaming nonetheless has gone from 12th on the grid up into 4th, so it's been a really strong comeback from him in this second race. But as I said before, I think the podium might be a little bit beyond him at this point. Cobb though still leading ahead of Jay. You got Jonboy within 3 seconds of the leader Cobb at this point. My Gaming still running there in 4th place, has managed to gap Captain Harlock by about a second since getting ahead of him. Charlie's still trying to fend off Raids Fader for 6th and 7th. You've got Nick the Villa now down in 8th place. His race has gone from quite promising in the early stages to a complete disaster, as we see Emafford and Parpooper having a bit of a dice there. Emafford just being tapped in the rear a little bit by Parpooper. Emafford back down the inside for turn 3. I think he's going to get that back, is he? As we can see, he's going to be side by side now down towards turn 4. Parpooper has the inside line and covers him off. Emafford couldn't manage to come back at him there, as we see the gaps now continuing to dip under a second, then over a second. Cobb and Jay very evenly matched at this point. The top two in this race still going at it. You've got Raids Fader still on the back of Charlie, but still can't get ahead of him at the moment. Jay just can't seem to keep within a second of Cobb at the moment. Cobb just extends the gap at points, and Jay will drop it a bit. But oh, Jay's had a moment. He's had a big moment there. Did he? He must have had a moment, because the gap's gone up by 0.3. Not as big as I thought it was. Maybe there's a bit of lag there on the screen. It looked like it had gone up to 2 seconds for a split second, but it looks like that was lag on the screen. That must have been lag on my end, or maybe the spectator mode end. But the gap in reality about 1.6 as they're coming into Druid's Corner here for the 9th time. So Jay's still there. He's not completely dropped off of Cobb, but Cobb looking to try and take this race by the scruff of the neck, and maybe he's gonna take this second race and run with it. You can see here Jay just keeping him on the same page at the moment. Jonboy 4 seconds off of the lead, running in that final podium place. He's 5 seconds ahead of Mike. I don't think Mike's going to catch him with the laps that remain, but never say never. It's possible for Mike to close that gap, but you'd have to gain it over a second a lap, and I don't think he's got that much of an advantage over Jonboy, despite Jonboy being in the Mercedes, which on paper not as quick of a car as the McGann. As Cobb's just extended the gap so far to Jay on this lap. It's now nearly 3 seconds between those two, so Jay just now is starting to fall off a little bit. Has he got anything left in the tank? He's 2 seconds off of his personal best on this lap so far. Just have a quick little peek at the penalties. It's still 2 seconds for Jay, so as it stands he'd actually lose P2 to Jonboy. He needs to gain a few more tenths of a second to keep on to second place here in this race. Jonboy's keeping him very much on his toes right now. Jonboy's actually extended the gap to Mike on this lap, I think. Let's keep an eye on the timings as they come over the line. Jay at 31.9. Cobb, the race leader, at 30.2. Jay was 2 seconds slower. Jonboy only 2 tenths off of the leader's pace, and a 30.4. He's gone wide. Jonboy gets it all wrong coming through Paddock Hill Bend onto the gravel. That could give Mike a chance to close the gap. It's now 4 seconds between Jonboy and Mike, so Mike's just gained a load of time there on Jonboy coming through the first corner, but Mike has got a penalty, so that could work in Jonboy's favour. Even if Mike were to get ahead of him, Jonboy would still have it would still be advantage him. Jay's just closed a couple of tenths on Cobb through the first sector, but it's not enough at the moment. 3 seconds is the gap, 3.5 laps left to go. Cobb just needs to keep it on the island and not make any mistakes here in the final part of this race. Jonboy's got 3.5 seconds to Mike, so he should be okay for that podium place, but who knows at this point. This race is developing like crazy. You've got a big battle also going on for 7th. You've got a 4-car train here battling over P7. Nick, Raids and Parpooper and Emafford still still going pretty close. As we can see, that's all we can see. Raids fade around the outside of Nick there, coming down the end of the back straight. Has he gone wide? No, he hasn't. He's got it stopped. Nicely done there from Raids Fader into 7th place. Nick the Villa's now got to watch out because Pop Poop is really close to him. Nick the Villa has got huge damage on the front of that car. He's missing his bonnet, so that's going to be so. No, it's not. Sorry, he's not missing his bonnet. That was just the lighting there. Apologies. That was the shade. The way that the shade was on the car. He has lost his headlights though. He doesn't have any headlights on the front of the car, so that's obviously going to be obstructing his ability to see. Having said that, it's not really too dark here at Brands Hatch at the moment, so should be okay. Oh, his Raids Fader's got a slowdown. Raids Fader's just backed out of it there, and you can see Nick and Part Pooper up into P7 and 8 respectively. Raids Fader losing a couple of places there. As here goes Part Pooper now, looking around the outside of Nick into turn 1. Can he keep it there? Nick's going to try and hold the inside line. Part Pooper swoops around the outside. That was a fantastic move there from Part Pooper Rex. I tell you what, that was a really ballsy move he's just put there on Nick the Villa, and he's managed to pull it off. Fantastic job there from Part Pooper. You can see Raids has now got M. Afford pretty close on the back of him. Raids having made a mistake, having got a slow down at the end of that lap, but Part Pooper Rex, what a great move that was there, up into P7. Nick now's got to tuck in and maybe defend from Raids here in the battle for 8th and 9th places. The gap at the front between Cobb and Jay staying at just under 3 seconds. Jonboy's still got over 3 seconds to Mike and should be alright for a podium. Part Pooper, Nick, Raids and MF still running close, and Raids has got ahead of Nick there at the end of the back straight, and now Nick might be passed by MF is looking low over him. There is Raids Fader's ride onto the grass. Oh, he takes the braking marker there, and Raids Fader's completely lost it. Oh, and he's just T-bones into the side there. Oh, and Nick the Villa gets caught up, an innocent bystander in that one. He had absolutely nothing to do with that whatsoever, but he's been caught up in something that wasn't his fault in any way, shape or form. And Raids Fader there, unfortunately, inflicting the damage there on Nick the Villa as he seems to have stopped there. He has come grinding to a halt. Nick the Villa down to P9. Raids Fader's retired from the race. He'll still be able to start on pole for the second race because he completed enough for the race. But M. Afford there left on his lonesome there in 8th place. And that is a disaster there for Nick the Villa, down to 10th place here in this race. That's gone horribly wrong there for Nick the Villa. And he's still about 12 seconds clear of Aussie Alfie, but he's lost out to Revolt Detailer. And Revolt Detailer now is into 9th place. Gap between Cobb and Jay staying at just under 3 seconds at the moment. So Cobb's just keeping Jay at arm's reach. He's just holding him behind the jab and keeping him away, keeping him out of threatening range. At this point, you've got Jonboy maintaining the gap to Mike. That's 3 seconds currently separating those two. So Jonboy, I think, has got 3rd place in the bag, barring a simply catastrophic mistake on the last lap. He should be home and hosed there with that one. Cobb, though, has actually lost a bit of time to Jay. Jay's just gained a bit on this lap so far. I wonder if Cobb's had a slowdown as Raids is disconnected. So I wonder if hopefully he'll be joining us for the final race of the night. But it's currently Cobb still out the front. He's coming into the pits. Did I put a pit stop on? I must have done by accident. Oh, apologies for that, guys. But it's the same for everyone. So we got a pit stop. I hope this doesn't change the order. I really hope this doesn't change the order. Oh my god, if this changes the order, I'm going to be in for an absolute roasting here. This is not gone well. This has not gone well. Oh no, please don't tell me it's going to change the order. Please don't change the order. Oh no. Well, I think Jay's got a penalty, so he theoretically should lose out to Cobb here, I think. As long as Cobb keeps himself within that 2 seconds, I might get away with this one. Oh dear, I'm really sorry, guys. And I tell you what, Cobb there, very sportsmanlike. He lets Jay back. Jay, very sportsmanlike, lets Cobb back past. I've had an absolute mare there, and I've got to apologise to everybody. I'm so sorry. It's the same for everyone, so I suppose it's not too bad. But that is entirely on me, and I'm really sorry about that, everybody. But it hasn't changed the finishing order by the looks of it. So I think, well, actually, Part Pooper is now in P5. So the guys who had damage, it might have affected. But all I can do is apologise for that one, guys. As I say, it's the same for everyone. So it's a bit of a weird one, but maybe it gets changed too much. obviously that's just thrown everything a bit up in the air. Cobb nonetheless is going to take the win here at Brands Hatch, and it's going to be a fantastic victory here for him in the second race of this season. Jay will take a P2 and gain points on Mike Gaming, so it's going to be all over the place a little bit here, the standings. But Cobb here coming out of the final corner here at Brands Hatch GP circuit. It's going to be the second race of the season here in the touring cars. Race 2 on the night for this one, and Cobb taking a fantastic win. Flash the lights there from our former GT3 Tier 2 champion. Cobb takes second place. Jay takes second place. The former touring car champion coming over in P2. Jonboy completing the podium, our two-time champion of the touring cars there in the Merc, coming over in P3. Mike Gaming is going to finish in 4th place in the end, so losing points. Obviously took the win in the first race, but the second race starting down in P12, he was damage limitation here for him in this one. Part Pooper Charlie gets P5 ahead of Part Pooper. M. Afford's going to come around to take 7th place in the end. There he is. Captain Harlock is going to come around to take 8th place as he's just coming into the final corner now. Nick DeVilla is still in the pits, getting some considerable damage repaired, but Captain Harlock here is coming up towards the line, and it's going to be P8 in the end there for him. Revolt Detail has got ahead of Aussie Albie. What has Aussie Albie done here? Has he run out of fuel? No, he's alright. So Revolt Detailer here coming around the final part of the lap. It's going to be P9 here for him. As here he comes. Oh, he's gone wide onto the gravel there. He's going to hold on, I think, ahead of Aussie, but Aussie hasn't got a penalty. Revolt has, so Revolt Detailer might lose out on P9 here as they come over the line. Revolt Detailer gets P8 actually on Captain Harlock's penalty. Bit of a mad one there. Maybe speeding in the pits. Again, that's my fault if it is. But Captain Harlock got a 51-second penalty for some reason. Revolt Detailer picked up 20 seconds. I wonder if that's down to jumping the start potentially. But nonetheless, that is that, guys, for the second race of the season. Cobb taking the win, Jay second, Jonboy third. We'll be back in 5 minutes time for the final race, the reverse grid race. So yeah, stick around, we'll see you in a moment.
Get lost sometimes and I can't seem to find a light between the walls I built for myself right in my mind. And then you came over and you showed me love that I never had seen before. Now when I got you, it's all gonna be alright. Thinking about all the things we did tonight. What a time to be alive. Just you and I.
Do you know what you've got in the pig?
And this has been such a dominant display here from the Oni G. Like I said a moment ago, take nothing away from Emo Guy. He's driven absolutely extraordinary tonight. Absolutely brilliant for him. But it's going to be the Oni G who's going to cross the line, and by my calculations, I think become champion. So G wins from Emo Guy. And he's driven a fantastic defensive race all afternoon. Emo Guy's driven a fantastic attacking race all evening. They've both been brilliant in this one. Lodder back in the pits again from P8. Delore's up into SIG. This is Emo Guy having a look at Andy on the final lap of the race. He's got to get it done. He's going to try and go around the outside, and they give each other respect and plenty of room. And Andy just hangs on to the race lead at the moment. But Emo Guy's really trying to fight it in there with only a couple of corners to go now. It's now or never for the Flying Scotsman. A flash of the lights again. Andy responds in flashing his lights, and Emo Guy knows it's now or never. Jonboy still has time to make a mistake at the moment. He's coming up to a back marker on track. And Emo Guy, 2 corners to go, the left-right chicane. He's going to look up the inside, and is he going to send one on Andy? Later on the brakes, can he keep it there? He's going to be on the outside for the final part, and they touch a little bit, give each other respect, and I think Evo Guy's just in front. He's narrowly in front, and on the last lap, the last corner, Evo Guy's going to take the win. No, Andy gets the win through the penalties. Evo Guy second. Unorthodox will get third, with Jonboy then your champion this season. He's done what he needed to do tonight, and he's going to take the championship. Jonboy, your touring car champion for season 5. What a drive from him. Top job.
Gary exiting the final corner now to take a race win here at Suhai, but I don't think it's going to be enough. The championship point says otherwise, but Gary wins the final race of the championship in the BMW. But Exmar is coming around the final corner now. Team Prolapse in second place, looks to take the title here tonight with the help of Laney. Exmar wins the title with Laney in third place. By my calculations, that would be the order. Jonboy crosses the line in fourth. What an awesome season he had in that Mercedes, which is underpowered, underrated, and he has done bits in it.
We have a winner here coming across the line. Laney's going to take the win, and a brilliant win as well. Absolutely controlled this one. He goes across the line, P1, and what a winner. Round of applause there, yes indeed. Done everything he possibly could.
P1 on the track, but not P1 in the title.
But not P1 in the title indeed, as Jonboy comes across the line to be the new touring car champion, and congratulations to Jonboy, well deserved.
Let's jump to this man, Jonboy. He's going to come around the final few corners. He is a two-time champion of the touring cars. He won the Clegg Cup for the first time on Monday night, but unfortunately it's not going to be his season in the touring cars. He is denied a third title, but a flash of lights nonetheless. He's pretty chuffed with a race win, and he'll take that going into next season. Jonboy, your race winner tonight. Diabetic Lamb is going to come around and take second place, but your champion of the touring cars here at Motive Racing for season 10 here on Project Cars 2 is WSRCJ, taking his first title here at Motive as he comes over the line. What a drive, what a season here from Jay. He didn't have it easy in that feature race, but he kept it cool under immense pressure, and he brings it home in third place. WSRCJ is your champion for season 10. Congratulations to him. Nick the Villa comes over to take...
Doesn't seem to be his car. One man who has made the BMW work is Mike Gaming. He has had a superb season. He's taken multiple double victories over the course of many rounds this season. Mike Gaming has been a revelation this time around. In the Clegg Cup, he took the win in the championship on Monday night. He's going to make it the double here on Project Cars 2 for season 11 here on the PlayStation 4 and 5. Mike Gaming up towards the line. Ryan Ruby takes a fantastic win in the sprint race here at Willow Springs, but Mike Gaming is your touring car champion for season 11. Following up in the footsteps of Jay, who took it last season. Mike Gaming, season 11 champion. Emma for third place, completes the podium.
Sometimes and I can't seem to find a light. The walls I built for myself right in my mind, and then you came over and you showed me love that I never had seen before. When I got you, it's all gonna be alright. Thinking about all the things we did tonight. What a time to be alive. Just you and I, just you and I.
And this has been such a dominant display here from the Only G. Like I said a moment ago, take nothing away from Emo Guy. He's driven absolutely extraordinary tonight. Absolutely brilliant for him. But it's going to be the Only G who's going to cross the line, and by my calculations I think become champion. So G wins from Emo Guy. And he has driven a fantastic defensive race all afternoon. Emo Guy's driven a fantastic attacking race all evening. They've both been brilliant in this one. Lodder back in the pits again from P8. Delores up into C. Here's Emo Guy having a look at Andy on the final lap of the race. He's got to get it done. He's going to try and go around the outside, and they give each other respect and plenty of room, and Andy just hangs on to the race lead at the moment. But Emo Guy's really trying to fight it in there with only a couple of corners to go now. It's now or never for the Flying Scotsman. A flash of the lights again. Andy responds in flashing his lights, and Emo Guy knows it's now or never. Jonboy still has time to make a mistake at the moment. He's coming up to a back marker on track. And the Emo Guy, 2 corners to go, the left-right chicane. He's going to look up the inside, and is he going to send one on Andy? Later on the brakes, can he keep it there? He's going to be on the outside for the final part, and they touch a little bit, give each other respect, and I think Emo Guy's just in front. He's narrowly in front, and on the last lap, the last corner, Emo Guy's going to take the win. Now Andy gets the win through the penalties. Emo Guy second. Unorthodox will get third, with Jonboy then your champion this season. He's done what he needed to do tonight, and he's going to take the championship. Jonboy, your touring car champion for season 5. What a drive from him. Top.
Gary in the final corner
Quick
now.
question, are we all in the party chat?
Because
I think we should skip practice. Otherwise we're going to be here all night.
Gary wins the final race of the championship in the BMW.
I know, but all you want me was to hear each other. If she don't go into a party chat, that's the only thing, because we go straight from lobby into practice. I think Captain Harlock's not in there, so I'm going to add him to the group chat. Are you going to use the motive chat?
Crosses the line in 4th. What an awesome season he had in that Mercedes, which is underpowered, underrated, and he has done bits in it.
We have a winner here.
I used the motive one, I
He's going to take
Use the motive one.
And a brilliant win as well. Absolutely controlled this one. He's going to cross the line.
So I can invite Captain.
And what a winner. A round of applause there. Yes, indeed. Done everything he possibly could.
P1 on the track,
but
not P1 in the title.
But not P1 in the title indeed, as Jonboy comes across the line to be the new touring car champion, and congratulations to Jonboy, well deserved.
Let's jump to this man, Jonboy. He's going to come around the final few corners. He is a 2-time champion of the touring cars. He won the Clegg Cup for the first time on Monday night, but unfortunately it's not going to be his season in the touring cars. He is denied a 3rd title, but a flash of lights nonetheless. He's pretty chuffed with a race win, and he'll take that. Right guys, you should have won a party invite to the party. Otherwise you won't be able to hear each other if you don't join it. Somebody's not joined. Somebody's not joined. We had 12 in that last lobby, but someone's not in.
It's WSRCJ taking his first title here at Motive as he comes over the line. What a drive, what a season here from Jay. He didn't have it easy in that feature race, but he kept it cool under immense pressure, and he brings it home in 3rd place. WSRCJ is your champion for season 10. Congratulations to him. Nick Lavilla comes over to take this. Seems to be his car. One man who has made the BMW work is Mike Gaming. He has had a superb season. He's taken multiple double victories over the course of many rounds this season. Mike Gaming has been a revelation this time around. In the Clegg Cup, he took the win in the championship on Monday night. He's going to make it the double here on Project Cars 2 or season 11 here on the PlayStation 4 and 5. Mike Gaming up towards the line. Ryan Ruby takes a fantastic win in the sprint race here at Willow Springs, but Mike Gaming is your touring car champion for season 11, following up in the footsteps of Jay, who took it last season. Mike Gaming, season 11 champion. MF for 3rd place, completes the podium.
Get lost sometimes and I can't seem to find a light between the walls I built for myself right in my mind. And then you came over and you showed me love that I never had seen before. Now, when I got you, it's all gonna be alright. Thinking about all the things we did tonight. What a time to be alive. Just you and I. Just you and I.
Here we are then, guys, we're about to go racing here for the final race of the evening. Race 3 here, it's going to be the reverse grid with a formation lap based on the results from race 2. So these guys are going to just get into order based on the reverse grid, and then we should be underway. Might be a bit different because we've had Craig jump back into the session, so hopefully these guys are able to sort of figure out who goes where. But here we are, I think we're just off now, so hopefully Captain Harlock knows the drill. We should do by now, hopefully. Hold on. Yeah, he's figured it out. So they just told him on the game chat. So it's one formation lap before we get going. I think Captain Harlock, someone just told Captain Harlock where he's supposed to be on the grid order, but reverse grid based on the. So Captain Harlock forgot what we were doing, but it's all good. It's all good. We've sorted it. So these guys are going to drive around one lap of the Brands Hatch GP circuit, and they'll be officially underway. Whilst we're here, I want to say a big thank you to Revolt Detailer, who sponsors this touring car championship. The prizes for the top 3 from last season are on their way. They are being shipped out to the drivers who were in the top 3 last season, and hopefully they'll be receiving those in a couple of days if they haven't received them already. I know the UK ones are on their way, but it's being sent Royal Mail parcel delivery, so yeah, it should be in transit. Hopefully it will be with the recipients very, very soon. But we've got Nick Lavilla leading us around on this formation lap. Revolt Detailer will be starting this one in 2nd place, with Aussie Albie in 3rd. Captain Harlock lining up 4th for this one, ahead of M. Afford in 5th. Part Whipper Rex there in P6, ahead of Charlie Goff, followed by Mike Gaming with John Boy in 9th, ahead of Jay, followed by Cobb, Connor and Craig at the back in P13. But the drivers just trying to get their tyres nice and warm, get themselves in the optimal range, and ready to go for one final assault around Brands Hatch tonight. We're going to be running a bit past where we thought we were going to be. It's going to be about 25 past 10 by the time we finish tonight, which is not ideal. We had quite a few unexpected delays. We're hoping to be done by 5 past 10 past 10, but it hasn't really worked out. Unfortunately, maybe it's something we need to work on with the format. We could potentially think about bringing the first session forward, maybe 10-15 minutes, maybe if people are up for it. But the main issue tonight has just been delays and problems. It's not really been down to the times that have been set out for the racing. But nonetheless, Nick Lavilla is going to extend the pace here. Once we get to the final corner, he's free to go, and I think we're underway. Yes, we are. Nick Lavilla's gone flat out here. No, he hasn't. I thought he had. He has now. So we're underway. We're racing here at Brands Hatch for the final time this evening, and we're over the line here. And we got Revolt Detailer in 2nd, followed by Aussie Albie, Captain Harlock, head of M. Afford, followed by Park Pooper, Charlie Goff, Mike Gaming, followed by John Boy, Jay, Cobb, Connor and Craig at the back here as we come into Paddock Hill Bend for the first time. But it's Nick Lavilla still leading this race at the moment, as we've got side by side here. Captain Harlock's to the inside here, coming through Druids. You can see you've got Charlie there ever so wide there, coming on the exit of Druids. He's at the inside here ahead of Mike Gaming for turn 3. Mike a little bit onto the grass there as they came through the corner, a bit of a slide there as well, as Charlie's now got ahead of Captain Harlock up into 5th place. Captain Harlock a little bit of a compromised run as they came out of turn 3 into 4 we come now. Charlie keeping it around the outside. Mike can't capitalise on Captain Harlock there. John Boy just watching in the background there behind these guys. These guys are about a second clear of Jay and Cobb, the top 2 in the first race there. And you got M. Afford, Craig and Connor running at the back there. Has had a nightmare of a first lap. Didn't see what happened to him there. But Connor is down in P13 and it's not gone very well for him. Oh, Ozzy's dropped it, coming through the middle part of the lap there. He's going to have damage on the front of that car. That was a hefty whack into the wall there from Ozzy Albi. Revolt Detail has already got a time penalty here on this first lap. You can see Pop is on the back of him there. Mike has just squeezed through ahead of Captain Harlock there up into 5th place. It looked like they were 3 wide for a second there. Captain Harlock and Jonboy, and we lost somebody as well. Somebody's binned it into the wall. Is that Nick the Villa? It is Nick the Villa from pole position in this final race of the night. He's binned it there, coming through the final part of the lap, and Nick the Villa's down to 11th place. What a shame there for Nick the Villa, as he was in a good position to maybe do something here in this final race of the night. It's Parpooper leading ahead of Charlie, followed by Mike Gaming in 3rd, who's already made up a lot of places here on this opening lap. Jonboy's also made very solid progress as well. He's into 5th place. Jay is only 3 seconds off for the lead, and he's about 1.5 seconds behind Mike at the moment. Cobb has not made the progress he would have wanted in the first part of this race. He's down in P10. He's 7 seconds off of the lead, and he's currently got a lot of traffic to negotiate before we can think about getting in front of the leaders. But it's currently Parpooper leading by over 1 second ahead of Charlie. Mike is now right on the back of Charlie, looking to try and get himself into 2nd place if he can. On board with Mike Gaming. Can he get this done here? Charlie there on the outside. We're going to go trackside here, as we can see Mike Gaming has now completed that move up into 2nd place. But can Charlie get a bit of a run here coming down the back straight? Can he get a better exit and maybe get the move back on it here? Charlie Goff is alongside Mike Gaming, and we're side by side coming to the end of the back straight, but Charlie Goff thinks better of that one, tucks in behind, and Mike Gaming, job done there into P2. Charlie's now going to watch out because Captain Harlock's really close on the back of him, as Mike almost lost it there on the grass, having a bit of a heart in mouth moment there for Mike Gaming. Keeps onto it just about. Charlie there is still running in 3rd, just ahead, or just behind Mike Gaming, but Captain Harlock's now going to watch out because he's got Jonboy and Jay looming large in his mirrors. Oh, is Captain a bit wide onto the grass? Keeps it on though. Good driving, good control there from Captain Harlock, keeping onto it and living dangerously, but holding onto it for the time being then. What an electric start to this final race we've had so far, as you would expect with a reverse grid. It's Parpooper leading by just under 1 second right now ahead of Mike Gaming, followed by Charlie. You've got Captain Harlock, Jonboy, Jay, followed by Revolt Dieter, M. Afford, and Cobb battling over 8th and 9th, but Cobb has not been making inroads as he would have liked to in the first part of this race. He's currently on the back of M. Afford. They've got about 1 second back to Craig, who's running in 10th place. Nick the Villa, after his first lap skirmish, is down in 11th place. Connor is down in 12th. He's 24 seconds off of the lead. I don't know what happened to him. Ozzy Albi, I mean, if he didn't have any, if he had any luck in this Touring Cars Championship, he would have no luck at all. It just can't seem to catch a break so far this season. It has not been the first round that I think Ozzy would have hoped for in that Mercedes. He'll be, I'm sure, wishing he'd pick the BMW for this season again, but nonetheless, there's still plenty of races in this season for him to get up to speed, but it's not been the start to the season that he would have ideally been imagining before the start of this season, as Charlie's trying to keep Parpooper and Mike on the same page right now, just under 2 seconds off of them. Jonboy is keeping tabs with Charlie at the moment. Jay, though, has dropped off for these guys a bit over the course. This happened, a bit of a slide there from Jay, but holds on to it for now. They're living dangerously though. Mike has made the move on Parpooper nonetheless for the lead of the race, and that's now job done there for him, so Mike can now control the pace. Charlie is still ahead of Jay there. You can see Cobb's got ahead of Revolt Detail now up into 6th place. That's job done there for him. Also watching the battle here for 8th, 9th and 10th places, because Craig has got M. Afford and Nick the Villa really close on the back of him now as well, and Jay's ahead of Charlie, so Charlie's made a mistake coming to the final few corners there. Jay's up into 4th place now, as we're now on lap 5 of the race. Mike still leading ahead of Parpooper, followed by Jonboy, who's keeping it within 3 seconds at the moment. Jay trying to close up onto the back of Jonboy if he can, now ahead of Charlie Goff into 4th place. Cobb there is only a couple of seconds behind these guys, running in 6th place, having cleared Revolt Detailer, who's in 7th. There's Craig in 8th place, followed by M. Afford, followed by Nick the Villa. Captain Harlock there running in 11th place, followed by Connor, and Ozzy Albi obviously having a horror show of a season so far. There's no other word for it. He's not been the season so far, but nonetheless, we know Ozzy Albi's got talent, he's got skill, and to be fair, in the GT3s, I mean, I say that he's had a horrible season so far. In the Clios and the Touring Cars, he's by his standards, he's had a dire season, but in the GT3s, he had an absolute stormer. I was driving in the GT3s. I'm racing in that championship on a Tuesday night, and at Daytona, he was 2nd in the feature race. He had a very strong sprint race as well. 4th and 2nd, Ozzy Albi was in the GT3. So watch out for this man on a Tuesday night. He seems to be Monday and Thursday seems to be his relaxation night, and Tuesday night is his grind night because he's up there in the championship fight in the GT3. So watch out for him. Jonboy's made a mistake. He's got it all wrong there onto the grass, coming to the middle part of the lap. He's now dropped down from third place down to 9th, so he's had a really big incident there. It looks like he's avoided damage, but he's probably had a couple of spins, probably spun it whilst trying to get going again, I would imagine. With the amount of time that he's lost there, that's not just one spin, that's a couple. So he's now down in 9th place. Mike's still leading ahead of Park with a gap just a second and a half at the moment. Jay is within 5 seconds of the leaders. Can he close the gap to Mike, or is Mike going to get another race win tonight and make it 2 out of 3 in the touring cars this season? Obviously he was in 4th in the sprint race earlier on here tonight. Charlie Goff still keeping Cobb behind him right now. These two pretty close at the moment. They've gapped Revolt Detail by nearly 3 seconds over the last couple of the laps. M. Afford's in the pits, so that's not gone well for him because there's no mandatory pit stops here in the touring cars. So unfortunately there, he's getting some damage fixed by the looks of it, and let's hope he'll be back out on track sooner rather than later. But Mike's still got the gap at just under 2 seconds right now over Park Pooper Rex. There's Jay in 3rd place, who's actually closing the gap a little bit to Mike over the course of this lap, but Jay has got a time penalty, so that will cost him by the time we get to the checkered flag. Charlie Cobb, there's Revolt Detailer running in 6th place, followed by Craig, who's just ahead of Nick the Villa, followed by Jonboy, and those two just ahead of Captain Harlock as well. So it's quite a close battle actually for 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th places. Craig, Nick, John and Capri, what the fuck am I talking about? Captain Tyler, I do apologise. I've got to apologise for swearing because we have got sponsors for the Touring Car Championship, so I do apologise. I'm sorry, that was disgraceful of me, and please forgive me. But Craig still running in 7th place ahead of Nick, followed by Jonboy, followed by Captain Harlock, and we've got M. Afford there in the pits at the moment, so he's still undergoing some damage repairs. Mike Gaming on lap 7 is 2 seconds clear of Park Pooper. You've got Jay there still running in 3rd place. It was quicker than Mike on that last lap. Let's just have a little peek at the penalties. He's got 5 seconds, so I reckon he's going to have his work cut out to get anything done here in this race. Is Jay. I'll tell you what, that's not good at all. Charlie's also got a penalty. He's about 3 seconds behind Jay. Cobb hasn't got one. He's running in 5th place. He's within 4 seconds of Jay at the moment. So as it stands, Cobb would pick up a position on Jay. So Jay's really got to push in the second half of this race. We're 7 laps into a 14-lap race, halfway through the final race of the night here for the Touring Cars Automotive. It's Mike Gaming leading by 2 seconds at the moment. You've got a few battles going on. Cobb's on the back of Charlie, and the battle for 7th still rages on here. You can see Craig just ahead of Jonboy, Captain Harlock and Nick the Villa. These guys are so close. As we're coming towards the end of the back straight, can Captain Harlock get anything done here on Jonboy? He's going to look at the BMW's overspeed there on the Mercedes. It looks like he's managed to get that done there into the corner, and that is job done there for Captain Harlock. As we see in the background, Nick the Villa, not Nick the Villa, yeah, it was Nick the Villa, running ever so wide there, coming out of the corner, and keeps it going. But he's lost a bit of time here to these guys, lost some momentum to say the least. But Jonboy's trying to get back on the rear of Captain Harlock after Captain Harlock breezed past him down the back straight. Oh, Captain Harlock a bit wide. Jonboy can't capitalise, isn't quite in a position to be able to make anything happen there on Captain Harlock, but that's just dropped these two off of the back of Craig just a little bit here, who's managed to stretch his legs ever so slightly. But Jonboy here, can he get himself back up into 8th place? Captain Harlock, a bit of a slide down. I'll tell you what, he's living dangerously. He's got that BMW set up quite aggressively. He's making use of it though. He's not losing too much with it, as Jay has picked up a time penalty there. 1:36 on the last lap. It certainly was not a 1:36. He went a lot quicker than that, but the time penalty is obviously costing him. As we can see, Jonboy getting a bit of closing speed there on Capri Sun. Captain Harlock coming into Druids. Why am I calling him Capri Sun? What's wrong with me? But a bit of a slide there from those two. They're still running in 8th and 9th places. What's going on with me? I don't know what's wrong with me today. But we currently got still a battle going on. Jonboy's trying to send it up the inside of Captain Harlock. He's managed to make the move stick here. These guys have actually closed on Revolt Detailer as well. Revolt Detailer's lost a bit of time to these guys, but Jonboy managing to get ahead of Captain Harlock just there. In fact, Captain Harlock's dropped it. He's now lost out to Nick the Villa. Captain Harlock's got it all wrong, and he's lost out there. You can see there Nick the Villa up into 9th place. Captain Harlock's been unlapped there by M. Afford as well. And in fact now you've got Revolt Detailer, who's got Craig and well, Jonboy's dropped off of him a bit, but Revolt Detailer has got Craig really close on the back of him right now in this fight for 6th place. And at the front, Park Poop is closed up back onto the rear of Mike, so as Mike dropped it somewhere, or as Park Poop just picked up the pace a bit, they're coming over the line to complete lap 8 of the race, and Mike Gaming has not got as much of an advantage as he had before. That's for sure. Mike Gaming might have got a penalty on that last lap. No, he didn't, but he had a bit of a scruffy lap. 1:33 it's saying, according to this. Jay, another 1:33. I don't think it was a 1:33. He's still got a 5-second penalty. So that time that we saw when he did a 1:36 must have been with that 5-second penalty taken into account. But he's only 4.5 seconds off the lead. He is only 2 seconds ahead of Cobb though, so he'll lose that position as it stands to Cobb once we get to the end of the race. So Jay, as we said, really needs to get a move on here. Cobb still can't find a way through ahead of Charlie Goff as these two are coming into turn 3. Oh, sorry, turn 4 even. But a bit of closing speed there for Cobb, but Charlie's there holding on to that one at the moment. Park Poop is still on the back of Mike Gaming. You can see the gap's very close there, 7/10 between the top two, but we're currently watching the battle for 4th and 5th here between Charlie and Cobb as down to the end of the back straight they come. Currently Charlie's still got the measure of Cobb at the moment though. Oh, it's Charlie a little bit wide there, coming through the right hander at the end of the back straight. Now Cobb's going to seize on that up the inside, up into 4th place. Did not need a second invitation there. Cobb up a position, beautifully done there from Cobb. Gap between at the front between Mike and Pop is still just over a second at the moment, but Cobb up into 4th place here in this race ahead of Charlie Goff. Craig there running in 6th ahead of Revolt Detailer, so he's got ahead of him now. Craig's made that move somewhere on that lap, didn't see where he did it, but he's now up into P5, sorry, P6 I should say. Sorry, I'm really tired guys, I don't know what's wrong with me, I don't know what's come over me today. Jonboy's still battling with Nick Livida in 8th, this is for P8 and 9 as they're coming to the final corner, but they're a couple of seconds adrift of this battle between Craig and Revolt Detailer right now. The gap between Mike and Pop has just gone up a little bit, it's now over a second between those two, so Mike's just extended his gap and looking a little bit more comfortable at this point. They've got Jay 5 seconds behind them at the moment, and he's not continuing to make inroads like he was before. Jay's gap to Cobb is now still just over 2 seconds, so at this rate Jay will lose his podium on the basis that he hasn't got enough of a gap back to Cobb in 4th place, so he needs either Cobb to get a slowdown or to pull out 3 seconds to him. It's going to be difficult for Jay to do that. Charlie Goff has got a penalty as well. What has he got? Charlie Goff has got 4 seconds, so Jay will keep ahead of Charlie as it stands. Charlie's got 10 seconds back to Craig, so he should be safe in that 5th place for now. Go back to the battle for 7th and 8th places though, because Jonboy still hassling Revolt Detailer. Craig has managed to pull away a little bit from Revolt Detailer since getting ahead of him a couple of laps ago, and now Revolt Detailer's got to watch out because he's got another driver looming large in his mirrors here coming through the middle sector. What can Jonboy do? Revolt Detailer driving a very solid final race of the evening though. Obviously had a lofty grid position and he's made very good use of it, to be fair to him. Nick Livida obviously started on pole. He's having to make a bit of a comeback here after he dropped it on the opening lap, but Jonboy, can he get P7 here as they're coming through towards the final corner of the lap, and he's just had to back out of it there I think, because Jonboy had a slowdown penalty coming into the final corner. That's going to let Revolt Detailer off the hook a little bit, and Revolt Detailer's not given up in this battle for 6th either. He's still right on the back of Craig as they're starting lap 11 of this race. But Jonboy could have Nick pulling up onto the back of him soon, although Nick saying that has got big damage on the front, so I can't imagine he's going to be too much of a threat to Jonboy here. Mike's still your race leader at the moment by just under 2 seconds to Park Pooper X. Jay there 5 seconds off of the lead. He's 3 seconds behind Park Pooper. He's got now only 1.5 seconds back to Cobb, so that's just now reinforcing the fact that Cobb is probably going to nab Jay for 3rd place here in this race. The battle continuing for P6. We're going to watch this battle in the mid-pack because it's absolutely fascinating to watch. You've still got Craig, Revolt Detailer, Jonboy and Nick Livida separated by barely anything. I don't know how Nick is keeping up with them with damage on his car, to be fair. Maybe the others have got damage as well. Jonboy's flashing his lights here at Revolt Detailer as they come into the end of the back straight, but Revolt Detailer's not being put off by that one. Driving a really great race so far is Revolt Detailer here in his final race of the night. It'd be awesome to see him picking up some really good points here as well. He's our sponsor for this touring car championship is Revolt Detailer. If you want to check out some awesome car detailing products, then be sure to go to www.revoltdetailer.com. The website name is actually in the title of this video, and you can also check it out in the description as well. And we'll also be playing a little flyer, a little advert for revoltdetailer.com at the end of this stream as well. But currently Revolt Detailer just dropped it off of Craig a little bit over the course of this lap. Craig's pulling out that gap and looking a bit more pretty in that P6 position. Jonboy still trying to put the pressure on Revolt Detailer as these two have gapped Nick a little bit. Now we've got I think somebody's trying to unlap themselves actually here. Yeah, Aussie Albie is trying to unlap himself here on Nick the Villa, coming up to Druids. Has he got the pace to do so? In the foreground though, you've got Jonboy, who has he managed to get ahead of Revolt Detailer? No, he hasn't. Revolt Detailer managed to get the cut back out of Druids. Great stuff there from those two. What awesome racing from these guys. Oh, is Revolt Detailer wide, coming out of turn 3, but keeps the position. And Jonboy's going to just set one down the inside into turn 4, can't do it. Revolt Detailer just holds on there. And Jonboy continuing to flash his lights and trying to get in the head of Revolt Detailer. Revolt Detailer is having absolutely none of it here as they come to the end of the back straight. Jonboy looking to try and send one down the inside. Can't get there though. Revolt Detailer keeping on, holding on by the skin of his teeth there as Jonboy ever so wide. These guys have got penalties, so that's going to play a factor by the time we get to the end of this race. But right now, the battle going on in the mid-pack, absolutely fantastic. As we see, Jonboy squeezing down the inside. He's gonna get told to return that position, and he will do. So Jonboy there backing out of that one. He made the position off of the track, and that's Revolt Detailer keep it onto P7 still here in this race. But that is now giving the impetus for Nick to chase these guys down. And obviously you got Aussie Albie on the back of them here. The car who's a lap down might be able to give these guys a little bit of hell here in the final couple of laps of this race. As we start the penultimate lap, it's still Revolt Detailer keeping on to 7th at the moment as he's trying to squeeze Jonboy to the pit wall. Jonboy switches back. Oh, so close to the grass there. He would have been inches away from being spun around and probably would have collected Nick the Villa as well if he had tapped the grass a little bit more. Now looking to try and feint to the inside into Druids. Can't make anything happen there. Revolt Detailer is driving a superb defensive race. Nick the Villa can't get ahead of Jonboy, but it goes to show how much Revolt Detailer is holding Jonboy up. The fact that Nick the Villa, with the damage on his car, you can see his bumper hanging off, and Jonboy still is not able to pull away from him. Now Nick is looking to try and send one into turn 3. Can't make it happen. Turn 4, should I say. Sorry, I keep getting those two mixed up. I don't know what's going on with me. But Revolt Detailer still running in P7. What a defence he is putting up in this battle for 7th place. As I'm noticing, Cobb is closed right up onto the back of Jay. This is for a podium place here as we're heading towards the final lap of the race. These two are 3 seconds behind Parpoo, but Mike Gaming's extended his gap over Parpoo, but we've barely spoken about Mike here tonight. He's starting his final lap as the race leader, and he's going to take 2 wins tonight as it is. He's obviously won the first race of the night, came 4th in the second race. He's going to make it a first, a 4th and a 1st, and what a start to his touring car campaign that'll be. Driving in a new car this season, obviously. He drove in the BMW last season, but he switched it up to the Megane, and he's currently taking it like a duck to water so far, as Jay's still running just ahead of Cobb, but Cobb is really putting the pressure on him on this final lap of the race. The battle for P7 continuing to rage on between Revolt Detailer, Jonboy and Nick the Villa as they're coming down towards Paddock Hill again. Jonboy throwing another feint to the inside, doing the same thing he did on the previous lap, but Revolt Detailer's not taking the bait at all. But Revolt Detailer's gone wide. Oh, he's gone deep into turn 1, and that's going to give Jonboy the position. Now Nick is going to try and knock Jonboy while he's made that move. Jonboy a bit deep coming through Druids. Can Nick the Villa get the exit out of the corner? I don't think he's going to be able to. Jonboy's just got that covered off coming into turn 3. Jonboy keeping on to 7th place, but these two having a great last lap battle. But Revolt Detailer, what a shame for him. He's lost P7 on that last lap. Finally, the pressure has forced him to give in. But Jonboy and Nick are going to fight this one out to the flag, I reckon. Where's Mike Gaming, the race leader? He's got just these 2 corners to go. What a job it's been from Mike tonight. He took the treble on the opening race of the season, the opening round of the season on Monday night for the Clegg Cup, and he's almost a clean sweep again in this touring cars. He's taken 2 out of 3 wins tonight with a 4th in the middle race. Mike Gaming up towards the line. He's got a bit of traffic here. That is Connor in front of him, but Mike Gaming takes P1 tonight here at Brands Hatch in the 3rd race of the night. What a performance, and he is definitely going to be leading this championship. He takes the most points out of anybody tonight. Park Pooper, a great 2nd place from him. Cobb takes 3rd on the penalties. In fact, did he get ahead of... No, he didn't get ahead of Jay, so Cobb takes 3rd on the penalties ahead of Jay in 4th. Charlie comes over to take P5 in the end. Craig is just coming through the final corner now. he was a little way clear of that battle that was going on behind him. Jonboy, having nabbed Revolt Detailer on the last lap, will be coming home behind him, but Craig comes over to take P6, and Jonboy there, did he even cross the line? Yes, he did. So Jonboy 7th, Revolt Detailer 8th. Nick the Villa comes over to take 9th place in the end. So Nick the Villa must have dropped it on the last lap, but he gets P8 on the penalties because Revolt Detailer time penalty. And so Nick the Villa P8, Revolt Detailer 9th, Captain Harlock 10th place in the end. Connor classified, or will be classified in 11th. He's just coming around. He just about stayed on the lead lap as he came over the line just before Mike did. Aussie Albies finished the race a lap down in 12th. Emafford 13th, having spent almost the entire race in the pit lane. But obviously Connor will be the last driver to finish as he's coming through the final few corners, and he'll be coming around upon the start finish straight in a few moments time. But what a race that was. That was dramatic, wasn't it? All 3 races tonight. Superb action here on the Motive channel for the Touring Car Championship. As always, Mike Gaming, your race winner, Part Pipper second, Cobb third for the third and final race of the night. Connor comes over to take the final checkered flag here tonight, and that's your classification there. Mike Gaming taking the win ahead of Part Hooper in second, Cobb completing the podium, Jay in fourth ahead of Charlie Goff in fifth, followed by Craig sixth, Jonboy 7th, Nick the Vidder in 8th place ahead of Revolt Detailer in 9th, Captain Harlock 10th in the end ahead of Connor in 11th, Aussie Albie 12th with M. Afford P13. That is that then, guys, for tonight's touring car action. Make sure you join us next time for the touring cars on Thursday. Thanks everybody, it's getting late. I'm going to wrap it up quickly. We'll see you in the next one. Have a great evening, and maybe catch you for the F1 tomorrow. Good night.
Get lost sometimes and I can't seem to find a light between the walls I built for myself right in my mind. And then you came over and you showed me love that I never had seen before. Now when I got you, it's all gonna be alright. Thinking about all the things we did tonight. What a time to be alive. Just you and